Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Bahasham, Baraka Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you, Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the Brother Ra'aya with another video, and in this video, I'll be reading from an article on RT.com titled, "One Step at a Time, EU Welcomes Biden's Victory, but Says It's Too Early to Discuss Cooperation." And at the end of the day, whoever the elites select to become the president of America, whether it be Joe Biden, whether Trump makes some miraculous comeback to continue being president, whether it be Kamala Harris becoming president if Joe Biden dies, or even if they drag Barack Obama out from some closet somewhere, America is still going to collapse and ultimately be wiped off the face of the earth by nuclear missiles, and her own allies, especially her European allies, are going to have a big hand in bringing her down. This is Obadiah chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh concerning Edom, the Edomites, or you so-called white people, whom this whole chapter is dedicated to. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Jump down to verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy, or your allies, have brought thee even to the border, the men that were at peace with thee. Some of these European Edomite leaders congratulating Joe Biden on becoming the president-elect and hoping for a fresh start at new relations between the U.S. and Europe have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread, these European Edomite nations receiving money from the U.S. to help keep NATO up, have laid a wound under thee. They're going to turn around and use that very same NATO to bring the U.S. down. There is none understanding in him. Again, there's going to come a time when America's allies, especially her European Edomite allies, are going to turn against her and shoot their nuclear missiles onto the U.S. This is Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. And the 10 horns being the EU, beginning with the first 10 common markets of the European Union, back when it was known as the European Economic Community, which thou sawest upon the beast being NATO. These shall hate the whore being the United States of America, which is also known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures. Hey, these shall hate the whore. Those that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh. They that have eaten thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and burn her with fire, that nuclear fire. And nothing will happen to stop America's European allies from turning against her and shooting their nuclear missiles onto her. So to you liberals out there that thought you dodged a bullet with Joe Biden, or to you conservatives out there hoping that Trump will be the comeback kid, hey, you better get ready, because this party hasn't even started yet, and it's about to get crazy. But back to the article. The EU has cautiously welcomed what it called the election victory of Joe Biden. Still, any cooperation prospects will be discussed no sooner than he takes office, the bloc added. The European Union has expressed tacit support for what it described as the victory in the election of Joe Biden, while stopping short of officially congratulating him on his projected win. Still, it appeared to be in no rush to comment on any future plans on cooperation with its allies across the pond until at least the presumed winner takes place. The only future plans for America is to get burned up by that nuclear fire. I think we should take things one step at a time, Eric Mamer, a spokesman for the European Commission, told journalists at a briefing. An ongoing process in the U.S. has led the bloc to welcoming Biden's success, he said, adding that developments in America are still at a very, very early stage. The EU is waiting for the new president-elect to take office before starting to comment on what this will imply when it comes to our relationship, Mamer said. Earlier, German Chancellor Angela Merkel once again congratulated the Democratic candidate on his projected victory, expressing her hope that Berlin and Washington would now stand side by side on a whole range of issues, from the C-19 pandemic to climate change. She also called the transatlantic relations a treasure and urged for cooperation between the EU and the US under Biden. Merkel was not the only leader to congratulate Biden early, since that list also includes France's Emmanuel Macron and the UK's Boris Johnson, as well as some other top politicians from Europe and beyond. Other world leaders, like Russia's President Vladimir Putin and China's Xi Jinping, said that they would hold off on congratulations until all formalities are complete. Biden's victory appears to be still neither official nor absolutely certain. The Electoral College is yet to present the formal election results to the Congress in December. President Donald Trump, who has so far ruled out conceding his defeat, plans to challenge the voting results up to the Supreme Court. But like I said at the beginning of the video, it doesn't matter who the elites select to become the president. America's still going to lose and get wiped out by nuclear missiles. And what I find interesting in most of the articles you read about relations between the US and Europe, Russia always gets brought up. And that's spiritual, because Russia is going to be the main nation that's going to lead all these other nations to come against the US and shoot those nuclear missiles onto her. This is Jeremiah chapter 50. I'm going to start at verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, Babylon the Great, the United States of America, an assembly of great nations from the north country being Russia, because what's north of the U.S. past Canada and the Arctic Ocean? Russia. And also Russia shooting its nuclear missiles over the Arctic and Canada to hit the U.S. would be the shortest trajectory time it would take for its missiles to hit the U.S. And that assembly of great nations not only include Russia's allies like China, Iran, and North Korea, but also the allies of the U.S. that are going to turn against her. Your Germany's, France's, Britain's, Japan, these other NATO nations, etc., etc. The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And those arrows are symbolic for those nuclear missiles, because what you have to remember is that when the prophets saw these visions thousands of years ago, they didn't know what a modern-day nuclear-tipped ICBM was. So they had to describe it the best way they could with what they knew during their times as ancient weapons of war, such as bows and arrows, javelins, spears, flying swords, etc., etc. Now we jump down to verse 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. And the bow is symbolic for these different silos and launch systems that are going to release those nuclear arrows. Shoot at her, spare no arrows. Hey, when these nations go to shooting their missiles onto the U.S., they're going to use every last one of their missiles, for she hath sinned against Yahweh. And the reason Babylon the Great, the United States of America, is getting judged by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is because you Edomites in America afflicted the apple of his eye, the true children of Israel, who are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her. And after those nuclear missiles hit the United States of America, it's going to be turned into a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland. Close it out in Isaiah chapter 13, verse 19 to 20. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And how was ancient Sodom and Gomorrah overthrown? By fire and brimstone from the sky. And the Most High is going to overthrow this modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, because besides being known as Babylon the Great in the scriptures, the United States of America is also known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt, as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8, with modern fire and brimstone from the sky, those nuclear missiles, 200 million to be exact. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. After those 200 million nuclear missiles hit the United States of America, it's going to turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards that's going to stand as a memorial as to what a wicked kingdom looks like and how not to govern the earth, and also what the judgment is for afflicting the children of Israel. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim were edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathens, chiefly of Esau, Edoms. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babol, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.